And we're here today as we are almost every week now. We've been doing a new live broadcast to cover some of the awesome stuff that new people like yourselves getting into real estate just really want to know and can't afford to not have as knowledge at their fingertips. We're going to talk today about maximizing profits in your rental properties. This is something that is absolutely huge for people getting started because it's incredible the amount of work that goes into running, owning, and maintaining rental properties, especially when you don't have amazing systems at your fingertips already. So when you put in that kind of work and that kind of time, the worst thing to see is that you've gotten nothing for your efforts, your risk, and your investment. So we want to make sure you're able to learn a little bit more about this. If you're new to our YouTube channel and you haven't been here before, well, shame on you, but welcome. I'm glad you found us today. My name is Kevin. I'm the Property Prince, as you know, here on YouTube. And you're watching the channel Two Guys Take on Real Estate. Today, you only get half of what you bargained for, but hey, it's all free content here on our YouTube channel. So it's One Guy's Take on Real Estate today. And today we're going to be talking about, so I put it right here on the board for us so I don't trip and fall, income enhancement. It's basically growing our net profit by increasing revenue streams. Sounds freaking fancy. I'm not a really fancy guy with this kind of stuff. Use kind of a fancy language, but this is 100% geared towards somebody that's a beginner. If you don't own real estate and you want to start learning about this stuff and you want to start buying property, this is perfect for you. If you do own a couple of properties and you've been doing this for a little bit and you want to make more money and you want your time spent and your risk to be maximized, this is where you need to be. So don't go anywhere. Stick around, share this video feed with your friends and help them find this as well, because this is free education and free knowledge about real estate that you just can't afford to not have. And if you're going to be able to learn something, there's a lot of things you can be doing with your time, especially when you're on sites like YouTube where we're broadcasting live right now. And if you're going to be spending your time on stuff, this would be something you should definitely spend your time on, because you can actually make money. Just by watching this video, you're investing your time. I'm going to check out our chat over here and see what we've got going on. Oh, yes, I see. Yeah, I know that's Agent coming from TikTok. What's up? Yeah, thanks for coming over from TikTok. And anybody that's over here on TikTok, what's up, guys? Find us over on our live feed right now on YouTube. Two Guys Take on Real Estate. We're teaching everybody for free. This is the kind of stuff people pay for in classes. And you can spam the comments. You can drop likes like crazy to help more people right now find us on TikTok. It'll help more people be able to transition over to YouTube, where we're going to be able to answer a bunch of questions for you. So this is a great question. I'm going to put it on the screen, but we are going to try to stay on topic today about maximizing profits on your property. Agent, I know, asks, how do you find hard money lenders? What do you generally need to qualify? This is a great question. We hear this all the time. Because we hear this question all the time, we made a YouTube video just for you about this, you and thousands of your friends, about hard money loans and what they are, how they work, and how to find them. So what you do need to qualify, generally speaking, the loan is being based more off of the deal than it is on you. So if your credit's not amazing, if you don't have an amazing 4 years or 2 years of W-2, tax return type stuff, you don't earned income and all that, you don't need it like you would a traditional bank. That's really cool about hard money is it's a quick loan. It's meant for quick purposes like the B in the BRRRR strategy, which we also have great videos about. So make sure you're using the right kind of loan for the right kind of investment. And again, with a hard money, it's supposed to be a short-term loan. So hard money lenders, we cover how to find them, we cover what they are, and we cover all the information about it. Check out our YouTube channel. You're already on it, and we'll be able to give you more information on it. So today, we're going to get back to the topic of income enhancement on your rental property. Everybody wants to make sure they're making the most money as possible, all the money that they should be making on their rental property. So I'd love to hear it in the chat, especially on YouTube, so I can maybe tailor this a little bit more to my YouTube audience who's streaming it right now at Two Guys Take on Real Estate on YouTube, same as it is on TikTok. I'd love to hear from you in the chat on YouTube. Do you already own rental property? Do you own investment property? Give me a 1 in the chat. Simple. Just give me a 1 in the chat if yes, you do own property. Give me a 0 for 0 properties in the chat if you don't own any properties. What I'll be able to do is I'll use that feedback to try to help tailor this presentation a little bit more to the majority of people that are watching's needs. So 1 if you already own some property, 0 if you don't own any property. And I see some YouTube people or some TikTok people already hitting some zeros. I see you got a 1 over there on our YouTube feed. I see another 0 over there. Awesome. Okay, so we're pretty. So we got a few. Okay, let's look like an even split. It's awesome to see so many people finding us on TikTok. By the way, TikTok, thanks for being here. You can find us, and I'll be able to put your questions on the board over on YouTube. So find us by switching right now to our YouTube stream. Two Guys Take on Real Estate. You can search for us in your YouTube app and find us there. Struggling with capital. Who isn't, right? Absolutely, that's great. And especially if you're struggling with capital, learning about hard money and the Burr method and those kind of things are key to get you started. I own a home and rent it to roommates. Dude, I love that. Reeves, that's a fantastic. So right there, Reeves is getting a leap ahead. Right there, I own a home and I rent to roommates. You're crushing it. I should have been doing that. I tell people all the time, I should have been doing that when I first got out of college. Hell, I should have been doing that during college. I paid to live in a dorm, which is like the biggest scam ever. They're incredibly restrictive in terms of their rules and all this other stuff. And you're basically sharing a cinder block walled cell with another adult sleeping on bunk beds. No bathroom, no kitchen or kitchenette or anything. You have to use communal areas for that. Crazy money. House hacking would be the way to go. Own a home or a multifamily home and rent it out to other people. We teach all about that on TikTok and on our YouTube channel. All right. So I own a rental property via inheritance. We get a lot of people that did that too. A lot of parents did the right thing. They set their kids up for a better life and handed a property down. That's great too. Need assistance to buy a new one? Well, we can help you with that. Squiggler, what's up? Thanks so much for coming over from TikTok. More people are showing up right now on our YouTube feed. So I want to get started into the presentation about how you can make the most money you can possibly make if you're going to own a rental property. There are so many little things. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what people talk about, right? You don't bleed in huge chunks. You lose blood here and there with these kind of things, and we're going to go over them. And let's jump right into it. I see a great question right here. How can I build credit score under 18? My parents don't have credit cards. That's going to be a little bit tougher. What I would definitely look at doing is getting a hold of like Credit Karma, something like that. Finding somebody, though, it doesn't have to be a parent, that would add you as an authorized, I forget what it's called, add you essentially onto their credit card. Doesn't have to be just your mom and dad. It can be anybody that, obviously trusts you a little bit or wants to help you out. All right, we got to jump into this, guys. So I want to stay on topic of what I'm working on and talking about today. I can't handle my brain going in different ways. Income enhancement, growing your net profit by increasing revenue streams. So this is huge. There's so many different ways for you to increase your profits in your rental property. And I want to go over a few of them right now with you. So let's take a look at the first one here. Very obvious, right? Increase the existing rents. Obviously, right? This is not earth-shattering information here. This one's simple. Now, as we get through some of these, we're going to explain a little bit more about what they mean and how to do the things that we're going to be talking about. Simple, not always easy. But obviously, you can make more money on your rental properties if you're charging more money for use of your rental properties. Not a crazy thing to go over. We're going to go to the next one. Charge a lock or key fees. Here you go. This is something that's a huge miss. Most people do not do this. Now, remember, everything we talk about in this presentation and in general is going to maybe varies by state. So always make sure you're reviewing your local laws to make sure that anything we're talking about here, if you implement it, it's not violating some type of law that you have in your state. But in our state, Massachusetts, this type of thing is 100% legal and should be done. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that as we get to the breakouts of each of these points. So you can charge a lock fee or a key fee, some places call it. Enforce late fees. Banks do it. Banks love to do it. No, you don't need to be, Bank of America and hammer the hell out of people with all sorts of fees for every little thing that you can. But yes, absolutely. There's going to be a couple of reasons this is important. Late fees is definitely one of those kind of fees that, again, depending on your state, you can charge and should always have a policy for charging late fees. We're going to talk about this stuff, but this is a huge way to increase. Banks love doing that. Banks are notorious for this. You're not a bank. You're a landlord. You're not going to have a zillion other things to profit off of people, but a late fee is essentially to a bank. It's 100% pure profit. For folks that are still on TikTok, take a second, find us over on our YouTube channel. We'll be able to answer your questions live over there on YouTube as they rolled in about any of this kind of stuff that we're going over. We have a huge YouTube library of topics of all this free information. So when you get there, please subscribe and then take a second and ring the notifications bell, because we do have some upcoming videos that you don't want to miss, and I want to make sure you get to see them all. And if you're already there I see several people over there. If you're already there on YouTube, take a second and like this broadcast. It'll help more people find it. All right, let's move to the next one here. Maintenance fees. How about that? I know there's going to be a lot of people that think you cannot charge as a landlord to fix stuff around the house. And that is absolutely a myth. You absolutely can charge some maintenance fees. So I'm not saying you're going to charge your tenants extra to mow the lawn, but actually, I just thought of a way that you could charge your tenants extra to mow their lawn. Wow. So maybe we'll get to that. But we're going to talk about this. A lot of people think, nope, can't charge maintenance fees. 100%. If you're not charging for maintenance fees, you're missing out. Remember, anything you charge, anything you do, you're a business. You have to do it in compliance with your state and local laws about running your business. So please be advised of that. Don't go just jumping into doing everything I did and I said because, hey, Kev the Property Prince on YouTube, he told me to do it. All right, let's get to the next thing. Never heard of charging maintenance fees. Good call. 100%, right? I'm telling you, man, this is going to be some stuff that's going to blow your socks off. This is why you got to make sure you're finding us on YouTube and you're watching our channels, because you're missing out on money if you don't watch this stuff. Again, if you have 0 properties, give me a 1 in the chat. Again, because I know people have been in and out. 1 if you have properties, 0 if you have no properties yet. I guarantee, why would you want to wait till you own 5 properties before you, sorry, I got calls coming in. Why would you want to wait till you own 5, 10, or 100 properties before you start learning this stuff? Learn it now while you can. I mean, learn it now so that as you're buying and starting your investments, right, you're going to maximize it. Why would you want to look back and say, man, I've been doing this for 5 years or a few years or whatever, and I missed out on all this opportunity. I mean, it's great to stop missing out on opportunity or stop losing out on money, but wow, learn it from the beginning. So I see on TikTok a lot of 1s popping up. I see Aaron's still got a 0. We got mobile over there with a 0. He's 16. That's great. You're in the right place. You're going to be a freaking rock star by the time you hit 18 and start buying property by watching our channel and learning all this stuff now before you leap into it. And I got to tell you, this stuff we learned as we went. We did not know this ahead of time. Had we all known this stuff when we were first getting started, guys, we'd be doing these live streams from a boat in sunny South Florida somewhere or somewhere tropical. I don't know, because we would be way more successful, way faster than we finally got to be. We started off about 12 years ago. We got up to about 500 rental units, and I've had thousands of tenancies. So I can tell you everything you can possibly need to know about some best practices and how to make this stuff work. Stick around. Make sure you're finding us on YouTube so you can ask questions to TikTok people, and we'll be very, very happy to do everything we can to get you to a point of success faster than we were able to find one. All right, let's move on our slide. All right, several categories to increase income. We got all these that we just went over, and then one more, include utilities. Hear me out. Hear me out. You can freaking make money. You can make money, not lose money, make money by including utilities. We're talking basic stuff, the typical stuff like heat and hot water, probably not electricity, but there's so many other things you could do. You could include Wi-Fi. Why not? It's going to be my new slogan for a video. I just know it. Anyway, I'll talk to you about why you and how you can actually increase your income by including utilities. That's the dumbest thing to do if you don't know how to do it and you don't implement it right, but it's an incredibly profitable thing to do if you do implement it the right way. All right, we're going to keep moving along here, and I see that looks like Matt's logged in from 2 guys. He owns property. He gave us a 1, so we know he's got something. All right, so let's keep moving here. Let's get into the info on this stuff. All right, so increase existing rents. Look, the easiest and most obvious solution. Not always easiest to do, but it's the most simple and obvious thing. You want to make more money for your product or your service? You charge more money for your product or service. So evaluate under-rented apartments. If you've been doing this for a little bit, guys, people out there that gave me a 1 that already have property, evaluate them on the market right now. If you were if boom, the thing was empty and ready to go, ready to rent right now, what would you charge for it? You know, are you going to charge the same amount that you've been charging? Or are you going to look around and see what other people are charging for a 3-bedroom apartment on that street or in that neighborhood? You're probably going to make an adjustment, right? So evaluate under-rented apartments and, figure out what you want to do from there. You get that? Increase annual increase of $25. Get people used to the idea that the rent is absolutely going to adjust. Your rent's probably going to go up a little bit. Why? Because the owner's costs go up. Every time I've ever heard of a tenant talking about, oh my God, my landlord gave me a rent increase, nobody ever seems to think for a second that all of the owner's costs went up that year. The property taxes, they don't freaking go down, right? They go up. Trash collection fees, water and sewer fees, ours went up 40% around here. Incredible, right? So these fees go up. The landlord, the owner, usually paying for those things. Insurance rates climb. Maybe the cost of landscaping. Gas went up, right? Thanks, everybody. We know what happened with the gas thing, right? So the gas, fuel went up. Landscapers, they go to your house with a truck running on fuel to offload their landscaping equipment, running on fuel, and they're paying higher wages to their landscaping team because everything went up, especially due to inflation. Your cost to have landscaping done at your property to keep it maintained went up. Why shouldn't the rent? Annual increase of $25 is tiny. Market rate increases. Adjust to market rather. Absolutely, good point right here. Market rate increases. $25 is tiny. You might need to bump it $150 or $300. Now, you're going to cause some people to flip out. And I'm not saying, oh my God, out of the blue, hit somebody with a $500 increase or something like that. But I guarantee you, man, if somebody's renting an apartment from you and it's $300 under rented or $500 under rented, they know it. And they're keeping their mouth shut about it. And they're hoping the day doesn't come where you realize how underpriced that apartment is and how much more they should be paying you or how much they'd be paying if they lived next door or anywhere else. So yeah, don't feel like you can never adjust your rent a significant amount if the market really calls for it, especially in that area. Are you really going to live in New York City in a top floor apartment in a nice area for $700 a month? No. I mean, of course you're not, right? If you are, you're like, man, I'm not going to piss my landlord off. I'm not going to do anything that's going to draw attention to myself. I'm going to stay under the radar because my rent here should be like $3,000. I'm only paying $700. Yeah, so it's a great question coming up, and we're going to get to late fees. But again, like I said, state by state, you got to evaluate what's legal and what's not in your areas. In one state that I operate, late fees are usually not collectible in court, but they are great to simply negotiate. I love it. A full repayment of rent prior to going to court. No need to go off topic. You're on topic. This is going to come up, and that is definitely one of the things I love. You should be a guest star right here helping out with this stuff. This is fantastic stuff. And thank you for that comment. That comment's coming in off of our YouTube channel right now. If you're still watching on TikTok, get a better view and get your questions answered over on YouTube by switching to Two Guys Take on Real Estate on YouTube, happening right now. Let's see. I must have made a typo there. Market increase challenges. Got it. So challenges here to doing this stuff may cause tenants to choose to move out. Dude, you do a rental increase, they're going to start shopping around. That could be fine. If you have a good product, don't be worried about them shopping around. What they do when they shop around, they'll be validating your standpoint that you're charging the right amount of money for this property. If you don't offer a great product, you're kind of a jerk of a landlord, not really holding up your responsibilities, or you're trying to pull a fast one and charge them way more than your apartment's worth, they're going to leave. So that could be a challenge for you when you do this. May require forcing a tenant to move out. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they can't afford it. They got to leave. That kind of sucks. I don't want to be that guy that drives somebody out of an apartment, but these are temporary spaces. Hotel rates, they go up on the weekends, right? If I'm renting a hotel room for, Wednesday and Thursday, and I say to the hotel owner after, my stay is up, I leased the room for 2 days, and I say to the hotel guy, I'm like, listen, I want to stay through the weekend. He's like, cool, but the rate is actually, twice what you were paying because it's the weekend. And I'm like, oh crap, I can't afford that. I guess I'll have to leave. Same kind of scenario. It's time consuming. Apartments visits, negotiation, right? You gotta deal with each and every tenant on these things. If you're going to do an increase, right, you're going to have to sit there and discuss it with people. Sometimes you can automate this stuff, but only to a point. And it could cause a temporary increase in vacancy. So again, you're not collecting any money from a vacant apartment. Guys, if you haven't bought a home yet and you don't know about real estate investing and you're learning this stuff, you're in the right place. So don't go anywhere. Follow our channel, subscribe to this feed, and most importantly, find us right now on YouTube. In our YouTube stream, we have people I still see people, our viewer count is going up and up. Please find us over there. You can ask questions. This is perfect information for you if you're sick of sitting there watching daytime TV or reruns of The Office. I love The Office. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. And you want to learn instead how you can make an incredible amount of money and become very, very wealthy and successful. This is the kind of stuff we teach on YouTube all the time. So please find us over on YouTube. We're doing these lives every week. Every week it's a different topic, so please stick around. Make sure you subscribe if you're there and ring that notifications bell too. All right, we're going to go to the next one. Charge a lock and key fee. Guys, this is what I was talking about earlier. A lock or a key fee, some places call this. I wish we had done this all the time right off the bat. So if you're one of those people that gave me a 0 in the chat that said, I don't own rental property yet, and I'm looking to buy some, I'm looking to develop a portfolio, and I want to buy one property a year maybe for the next 5 years. That's my 5-year plan. Guys, if you're 18 and you don't have that as your 5-year plan, you're falling behind. If you're my age and you don't have that as a 5-year plan, you fell behind a long time ago. We're going to help you put some booster rockets on and catch you up because we started a little bit later than we should have. We should have known this stuff. I wish we had known this stuff early on, and we went through a lot of struggles with getting started without having this kind of knowledge. We put these videos together and do these lives to help you avoid the same kind of struggles we had. Charge that lock fee or key fee right up front. Matt's. I see Matt's over on our channel as well. Make sure you hit that like button. Please hit the like button. And if you're on TikTok, tap the screen, blow us up with comments, ask each other comments as well and questions in the chat. You can charge a lock fee. Again, this stuff depends on state laws. Do you know what a lock fee is? Who doesn't know what a key fee or a lock fee is? By the way, does anybody not know what this is when it comes to real estate? If you're renting an apartment and your landlord charged you a key fee when you moved in or a lock fee, what does that cover? Why would he just charge you this? This is something you charge at move-in. One-time $50 fee. I don't think there's a definite rate of what you can charge. Again, different states have different laws, but I charge $50. Nobody knows. Okay, people don't really know. Great, I love that. That's what we're here for. So a key fee or lock fee is when you move into a new apartment, right? If you're a landlord, you're renting out a new apartment to somebody, you have somebody that probably just moved out of it. So you moved out, you say goodbye to them, they gave you the keys back, right? You gave them their security deposit, they gave you the keys, so that's what happened. Now I met you and I want to rent you that apartment and I show it to you. You decide you want to move in, I take your first last security, I hand you your keys. Handed you literally the keys that the last dude gave back to me 2 days ago. I don't know where those keys have been. Have they been to the locksmith? Have they been down aisle 4 of Home Depot where they for $5 they made extra copies? They gave copies to all their cousins in the area in case they get locked out or so they can stop by and do laundry, right? Now, how many people out there right in that area have keys to that apartment, right? You don't want that, right? So you want your landlord to make sure he changed the locks on that property. The key fee or the lock fee is the landlord making sure you have brand new locks that have never been used at that location prior to your rental. And for that fee, for that service, you get to charge for it. $50 is what we charge. That covers the cost of somebody swapping out the deadbolts, the locks on the front and back apartment doors. $50 one time. We got up to 500 units, guys. Right? When you scale that, that's not too shabby at all. Most importantly, you don't need to buy a brand new lock set every time. So if you have a multifamily house or you have a few multifamilies, remember, you did this as a 5-year plan. You bought a 3-family house every year, once a year. Once you get to year 2, by the way, you're going to be really bored and you're going to wish you bought more houses because you're not going to need to wait a whole extra year to buy one more property. You're going to start buying a property probably every 6 months to every 3 months once you get to year 2. We'll talk about that. And imagine that. Now you just swap the locks around. You have a couple extra sets. It doesn't have to be unique to never having been owned by anyone. It just has to be a lock set that's never been used there. So you can start swapping locks that you already own. You don't need to go out and pay for brand new. Oh, yeah. And I see Matt popped on something as well. I didn't get to, but we do everything with a master key system. So just like Smeagol and Lord of the Rings, right? I've got one key to rule them all. One key on my keychain will open up 500 apartments all around the area. Well, a little bit less these days. But this is really, really important stuff. Have some type of a system so you don't end up being like that janitor dude, with a huge bag of keys hanging, around his belt, jingling everywhere he goes. Have some kind of a master key system or other kind of system that allows you to have one key to get into all the apartments that you own. It's going to make things so much easier when you're stopping by because somebody called while you were out and you need to do something at an apartment. You don't have to go figure out where the key is. You already have it right with you. It just stays on your keychain. Anyway, we're going to move on. But it's essentially almost pure profit. Maybe you're doing a lock change yourself. Maybe you already have maintenance there, swapping out batteries in the smoke detector. They swap out the lock while you're there. It takes an extra 15 minutes, generated you extra $50, goes right to your bottom line. Legally allowed to charge before tenancy, zero cost of service, 100% profit, kind of just covered all that. Challenges, fair housing. Dude, guys, you got to do this to everybody. You can't just charge one family the lock fee and then not bother to charge it to the next one. You can't say to somebody, well, I know times are tough for you. I won't charge it for you, but I'll charge it to the whatever other people. Remember, everybody seems to fall in a protected class, whether it's race or religion or whatever. So it's like, well, you know what? Because that guy belongs to the same religion I belong to, I'm not going to charge him these extra fees. You can't do that. Fair housing laws, make sure you're consistently doing this and all of your practices. Difficult to acquire tenant through state programs. Look, we work with a lot of different subsidy people. We work with a lot of different state-funded tenancies where basically the state is paying. You, the hardworking taxpayers out there, paying for people to live in apartments. One of the problems is a lot of times these people have to come up with the move-in expenses. The programs will pay for that, but the people themselves would have to probably come up with the money for the down payment. For the lock and key fee. And a lot of them, believe it or not, will kind of tell you that they don't have $50 that they can spend. So that might be an issue, and it's harder to get the programs to cover these things because they're customarily set up for like a first last security kind of move-in. I see a couple of questions here. Yeah, here we go on YouTube. Dylan asks, would a smart lock system be good? If so, I could just use an app. Absolutely. I don't know if you need to have a Wi-Fi connection for that lock at the property. Remember, if you're not living in these properties, it could be that these locks are, you don't have Wi-Fi at them because you don't live at any of these multifamilies. So if you need to have Wi-Fi, that might be an issue. Otherwise, you're having to set up an internet account for each location. Maybe you could work something out where it piggybacks off of a tenant's internet, but then you got to count on a tenant having it. I don't know. But a good old master key system of any sort that you don't have any technical issues with would be the key. would be the key. You're welcome. You get all this for free. All that for free. All right. Might cause delayed move-ins, resulting in rental loss. I've had people, we have to do it consistently for everybody. Get people to show up on move-in day. I'm still laughing at my, anyway. Show up at move-in day. They don't have all the move-in money. Maybe the key fee is what they're short. And you're like, I have to treat you the same as everybody else. I can't let you in. So then maybe you have to have a delay on moving somebody in until they get all the money that they knew that they needed to get moving in. Let's move along. Implementation, rental increase and key fee and lock fees can be better managed with an office location. Seriously, you don't need an office to do much of this stuff anymore, but things do get better managed when you have the ability for somebody to show up to where you are instead of have to try to chase them down all the time. So requiring tenants to come to us is going to allow us to be productive while awaiting a scheduled appointment. I set it up where I met tenants at Starbucks. I set it up where I would meet tenants at their apartments, all these other things. And they're late, they reschedule, they forget all about it, they have an emergency, there's always an emergency. So not something I want to have to deal with, right? I want to be able to be working at my desk or doing whatever I need to do on my computer, answering phone, whatever it is you need to do that's productive, and have the tenant come to you. They set up a 1 o'clock showing and they don't show till 1:30, big deal. You're at your office working. Provides the ability to handle multiple appointments at the same time. Yeah, you know what? I'll schedule appointments for about the same time because I know people are never on time. So I'll set up 2 different people to show up at like 1 o'clock. And if they, for some miracle, actually do, one person can wait a few minutes, just like I've had to wait many, many times over the years myself. And move-in paperwork and fees can be handled in advance of the actual move-in, preventing move-in delays. Great. I mean, again, just a really good solid point right there. We're going to keep moving because we got some more stuff to get through. Enforce late fees. Yes, guys, late fees, right? A lot of people don't do this. Remember, late fees in the implementation of them might vary from state by state. We have one of the worst states to do this in because if you're late on your mortgage within a very short span of time, you get whacked. If you're late on your credit card within a very short span of time, you get whacked. On a late fee on a rental apartment, they don't care. They're just like, screw your landlord. He can wait. No big deal. So here, our state laws are 30 days. We don't charge. And I sell this as a selling point. I said, listen, we promise we won't charge you a late fee until your rent's at least 30 days late. And then at that point, it's only $50. So might as well stare into the skid. So that's what I talk about. But look, this is why banks love late fees. Who doesn't love late fees? If you're on the receiving side of them, zero cost of service, 100% profit. You want to pay your rent late? Okay, that sucks, but cool. I'll take that extra $50. in our state, there's not exactly an amount, I don't think, that they allow you to charge or not allow you to charge. So it has to be kind of reasonable. Some states, maybe it's like 10% of the rent. So make sure, again, you're reviewing your local laws. Fair housing, hey, warning, guys, right here, has to be consistently applied. I think I can actually Google on this stuff, can I? Fair housing, yeah. I mean, this is, you want to lose your property. You want to go out of business quick? Forget and ignore this stuff. Don't treat everybody equally. Make exceptions for people. And that's how you're going to go out of business. When you do something that you think is good and helpful for somebody, you can get sued by somebody else that just found out about it that you didn't do it for. I'm going to segue real quick to something that actually happened. So please, do you guys mind if I do a quick little off-topic thing about a fair housing violation where somebody thought they were doing a good, helpful thing and then got sued? Can we talk about this? Give me a 1 if you don't mind me ranting off topic for a quick second. I'll keep it under 2 minutes. Give me a 1 in the chats. Come on, chats. Give me a 0 if you're like, F you, Kev, just get back through the slides. Do it. I got some do it. 1 in the chats. Got to get some 1 in the chat. All right. So this is going to blow your freaking socks off. This is absolutely insane and completely pisses me off. Should piss you off because it's ridiculous. So there was this management company. They had like a management development, a property development area, a whole bunch of like townhouse style apartments in a parking lot. And we have really, really bad winters. So in our winters, you got to plow. Sometimes you have to plow multiple times in a storm. And the policy from this place was, if there's a snowstorm, you got to move your cars by such and such time, yada, yada, yada. They gave you instructions on where to put the cars. Okay, that's fine, right? If you don't move your cars, when our tow trucks get there, they will be towed. Okay, fine. I mean, it sucks to have to tow people's cars, but everybody knows the rules. It's the only way the place is going to get actually plowed out. You got to tow some cars if you have to. If people don't, people aren't cooperating and following the rules and making accommodations for the towing. So what happened? So the tow truck company came out to clear the lot of several cars that were still there at the end of a snowstorm. And what the tow truck drivers did is they drove a lap around the property, around all the different townhouses, and wailed on the horn a bunch of times. They drove around, honk, honk, honk. That was me honking for no reason. You understand what a horn sounds like. Anyway, right? So that sounds like an awesome thing, right? They effing got sued. So here's what happened. So they honked, they went around. If you can guess it in the chats, I'm going to try to watch the TikTok one too, but we are streaming live on YouTube, so I'm going to be seeing it over there. Tell me why they ended up getting sued when somebody's car got towed. So they drove around, they're honking the horn, and so obviously people look out the window, right? And they say, oh my God, the tow truck's there. I didn't move my car. And they went out and they moved their car. So they did this a second time. Another snowstorm. Live in Massachusetts. Snowstorms like crazy out here. So what happens? They did it a second time. I see Lisa's heard this. Okay. Currently $25 a day for late fee. Okay. Awesome. So snowstorm happens. Some people didn't move their cars. Tow truck goes along honking the horn, alerts everybody. You got to move your cars. You got to move your cars. Right? People moved their cars. Some people came out. Oh my God, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Moved their cars. They saved several people from having tows, right? That's awesome. Because unless you're a podiatrist, no, dad joke. Anyway, they saved so many people from having to have their car towed and impounded. I see somebody. Yeah. So, but everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Everybody knew the procedure, how they were supposed to move their cars, when they were supposed to move it by, et cetera, et cetera. Snowstorm happened. Some people didn't do it. Tow truck driver goes around honking. Why did they get sued by somebody who got their car towed? And why did that somebody win? Somebody got their car towed. You know why they got their car towed? They were deaf and they didn't hear the honking. Well, that's not why they got their car towed. They got their car towed because they effing ignored what they were supposed to do and they were well aware of it. But they sued because they were deaf, couldn't hear the tow truck honking their horn as they went by. So everybody else got an additional warning, an additional assistance to be reminded, an additional reminder to move their car, except for them. And they didn't accommodate the fact that they knew they were deaf, and they didn't give them the same extra heads up that they gave to everybody else. So these people got sued. I mean, it sucks. I didn't want to see anybody. It's not my property. I have nothing to do with this story. I would want to see somebody get sued. But really? Like, you're going to go ahead and sue? They thought they were doing something helpful. And they were. They helped a whole bunch of people. But because they didn't do it in a way that got through to the family that had a hearing impairment, I don't know if they're fully deaf or anything. But that was what they used as an angle. And they sued for discrimination. And they settled or won or whatever. So this stuff can happen a lot. Absolutely, this stuff can happen a lot. So we're going back to this fair housing. You got to consistently apply whatever it is that you do. You have to consistently apply it. Make sure it applies to everyone. If in this case here, the towing company had gotten out, and I don't know what you do, but you alert them some other which way, then they may not have had a case. But in this case here, not fair. Again, fair, but not fair. They didn't treat everybody the same and consistently. So make sure, man, that's going to be huge. You don't even have an appreciation that you've worked. Maybe you've been doing this for 10 years. You built up a portfolio. Every dollar, if you're not properly covered, you don't have an errors and omissions clause in some kind of insurance policy. Every dollar you spent, you could absolutely lose right there. Every dollar you ever earned, ever worked hard for, a lot of our properties, for instance, are all properties that were distressed. You poured a lot of time and effort into making these properties productive again, providing people a service that they basically, frankly, begged for in some cases, applied for, and was very, very sought out. You provided them that service, and then you could lose everything because you don't consistently apply a couple of practices. All right, so we're going to get back to where we're at here. If you enforce a late fee, it's great to collect the extra $50 or whatever you're charging. And I see that somebody does have. I see some comments here. You're right. Yeah, woke up somebody who works on a night shift. That's another great thought that was there. Yeah, but that wasn't it. Obviously, as we know. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get back into this, but encourages on-time rental property payments. Huge. If there's a consequences, people will generally do something to actually conform and comply. You've been seeing this with no payment situations because there was an eviction moratorium, obviously very unfair, and recently I think it was ruled unconstitutional and struck down by the Supreme Court because it should never have been implemented the way that it was. But when you remove a consequence from somebody, a lot of times they won't necessarily behave properly, and they'll do the wrong thing and not have to worry about something bad happening. So it will actually encourage them to pay their rent on time because they know there's some kind of a fee or a penalty coming if they don't. Very, 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 very simple stuff. You don't ever have to charge a single late fee as long as there is the consequence floating out there that you could or you will, or hey, it's going to happen. Big one. Let people know about that right up front. It'll help you collect your rent faster and with much, much less effort and work and time. Legally allowed to charge after 30 days. Again, here it's ridiculous. They have to be late for a whole month. Meanwhile, if you're late on your mortgage or your credit card, you're getting absolutely destroyed in late fees by the time you hit 30 days. It's difficult to enforce. Some challenges about it. What are the challenges here? What's difficult to enforce? You're not taking them to housing court. You're not evicting people over not paying a late fee. Very, very clear. Again, maybe different states. Maybe you can. They owe you money, and they're your tenant, but you can't evict them over not paying a late fee. So if you charge that late fee to their account, they don't pay it. You have to take some other action. Who's going to take them to court over a $50 one-time late fee? Nobody's doing that. But if it's a chronic thing and they've been your tenant for 10 years and you're always chasing them, that might add up. Maybe you do. It confuses rental balance statements. Listen, I don't understand. Why does it show that I'm $150 behind? I paid you my $1,000 this month. And you're like, yeah, but you were late one time 2 months ago. You were late the month before that. And then 3 months before that, you were late. So $50 three different times. And they're like, I don't understand, but it shows that I owe you $150. Are you saying I only gave you $850? I'm like, no, you gave us the $1,000, but you've had $50 adding up here and there. And now you're spending time at unraveling some confusion. And confusion leads to frustration. Frustration will lead to an adversarial relationship with you and your tenant. And that's not worth real money. That's not worth late fees, guys. Waive those suckers. You want your tenants and you to have a good relationship of respectful and professional relationship with each other. I'm just checking out some of the comments over here. Okay, beautiful. So folks on TikTok, if you're still there on TikTok, find us, please, on YouTube. You can click the Stand With Me link. It's Two Guys Take on Real Estate, same as it is here on TikTok. And we are answering questions right now in our YouTube live stream. We do lives every week so that you can avoid some of the struggles we had learning all about real estate. And if you're new to real estate, I love it. I know people have been changing in the different chats here. Give me a 1 if you own property already. Give me a 1 in the chat. Just type 1 in the chat window. 1, you own property. 0 if you don't have any property. Give us a 0 if you don't have any property already, and we'll be able to tailor some more of this to your specific type of position here. Because anybody that owns property, it's still going to be helpful for. It might be stuff you wish you knew already. And if you don't own property and you want to learn before you leap, awesome, you're in the right place, and we'll be able to help tailor this a little bit more to you. I see a bunch of zeros over there on YouTube. I see a zero in my camera right here, and I'm gonna take a lot more towards the newbies out here that are learning. I see somebody 3 in Chicago. This is great. Hova, what's up? I see a lot of ones on the TikTok side. I have so many awesome people on TikTok. Don't forget, Stand With Me link. You can click the link to bring us to Two Guys Take on Real Estate, where we're going live right now on YouTube. Okay, so frequent waiving requires attention from accounting department. Look, if you're getting bigger and you have multiple different people involved now, or you're wearing all your different hats, there's a few different hats you're going to waive, and you're going to start seeing those terms coming up here. A few different hats you're going to be wearing. You're going to be wearing the hat of the tenant relations person, the person that's working with the tenants on behavioral stuff, lease understanding and comprehension, move-ins, move-outs, collections, all that. You'll be wearing the hat of a maintenance person. Maybe you're the one person dealing with this whole property. So now you're the maintenance guy. You got to figure out how you're going to repair this or fix that. When a tenant breaks something or clogs a toilet or damages the property, you got to deal with it. That's your hands-on physical maintenance hat you're going to be wearing. Or maybe you're the accounting department, and now you're the financial person that's going to be tracking any charges made to a tenant's account, any payments made from a tenant's account, making sure bills are paid, invoices are generated, all that stuff. So if you're expanding and maybe you have a partner helping out or a couple of other people you've partnered up with helping out, you might all split up these tasks and these roles a little bit. I do a lot more of the behavioral and tenant side of things. Matt does a lot more of the physical maintenance side of things. And we have somebody else that does all the numbers. So you're going to have to deal with a little bit more internal work on this because you're going to waive some of these late fees. Listen, I know you got hit with a late fee. You're a month and a half behind. Listen, if you can square up your account today, I'll waive your late fees. Just please get that payment into me. Or listen, sorry, I understand you had an issue with, the heat went, or the hot water tank, the pilot blew out yesterday. So I know you're without hot water for an hour. Tell you what, I'll waive that late fee that we charged you last month. Sorry about that. We'll call it even. What do you think? And you can waive those things, but then you got to make sure you're adjusting it in the accounting aspect of things. And then confusing and payment plans are immune. So if you took somebody to court, listen, I take people to court all the time for eviction. I take people to court all the time for eviction for non-payment of rent. Unfortunately, I don't want to, but they're not leaving me any other choice, right? They won't stop taking my services and they won't pay for them. So it's going to stop one way or the other. So when I take them there, I'm not trying to kick somebody out. I'm begging for them to give me a solution that helps them put the tenancy back on track. So that's where I make a payment plan. I say, listen, you pay your current rent plus, a couple $100 towards your backed up rent. And in 6 months, 90 days, I don't like to have long payment plans, but I've done very long ones. You're back on track. And when you get into the payment plans, you're not really able to mix in other fees. Like they clogged a toilet, they had a late rent fee, they have all these other random fees that we're talking about today. You're not able to mix them in as part of the payment plan. So that's something that then you have to kind of keep separate. So you're chasing them for one balance. Hey, listen, you had a payment plan. You're supposed to pay $100 by the 15th and $900 by the 1st. Also, you owe these other fees. It adds too many different layers, and it's not the greatest way to go through it. Implementation, develop a method of auto charging in management software. That's a great way to go. You want to do this to everybody. You want to treat everybody fairly and equally. Well, make sure you automate it and systematize it. That's a great way to do it. So use management software. Now, if you're brand new, I saw a lot of ones in the chat and a lot of zeros were springing up as well on TikTok. So please, guys, if you are newer to real estate, you have just a couple of property or you're about to get into it, the best piece of advice that we ignored right away was to use good management software to make sure we stayed organized and we didn't miss a lot of opportunity. We ignored it because we couldn't afford it. Management software back then was incredibly expensive. Now it's very affordable, basically free. If you haven't checked out Rent Ready, that's R-E-N-T, Rent Ready, but it's spelled weird, R-E-D-I, Rent Ready. There should be a link to it in our bio on the Stand With Me link that you can find on both YouTube, where we're streaming live right now, and on TikTok, where I still see some followers over there. What's up, TikTok? Find that program, that software. That's a great beginner software if you're going to get into real estate. Don't be like me and like Matt on our channel and try to wing it and do it without management software. It will cost you a fortune. management software like Rent Ready, very, very inexpensive. Monthly task. If you're not going to use management software, then a monthly task of reviewing tenants with balances. Every time you see it, print out who you have for tenants. Maybe you started off, you only got a 3-family house. It's a quick monthly task for you. And then it'll help reduce confusion when you send them statements. So you send it to them in the mail. That way they understand, like a lot of these people aren't going to be reading the mail. I don't even really go to my mailbox almost ever. But at least you took whatever steps you could to alleviate confusion. Remember, confusion and being off on the wrong page with your tenants will create a really unfortunate situation of an adversarial relationship. So you don't want to see that happen. All right, I just want to check, make sure I see I give my tenants 1 free late payment per year. That's phenomenal. Striking earth, dead on. That's a great policy. Remember, though, everybody, you have to do that for everybody, and I'm sure that you do. But whatever your policy is, as long as you apply it uniformly, then you're in great shape. Okay, let's see. Enforcement of this may not be worth the potential as it requires small claims court and cannot apply to security deposit. You can't, again, state by state, maybe some states are a little bit more fair and you can apply these things to your security. Maybe you can use it in an eviction case. Here you can't in my state. And remember, like I've been saying through this whole broadcast, you always want to review your local state laws. But yeah, are you really going to take somebody to court because of a couple of late fees? No. Hopefully the threat of the late fees are enough to keep your tenants paying on time, which is your goal. Maintenance fees. All right, we finally got to it. I know so many people wanted to know this. Who thinks, give me a 1 if you think you can't charge maintenance fees. Who's surprised by this, that you can charge your tenants for maintenance? Give me a 1. I can find a way to charge somebody for lawn care, but give me a 1 if you think you're surprised by the fact that you can charge people for maintenance services, or there's certain services that you can. Maybe you're not that surprised. Maybe some of you guys have rented before, and this is new to you, and you haven't, and you've been hit with these things. I see some ones on TikTok. I see Rob's got a 1 on there. Yep. All right. So Rob, dead on. He was surprised earlier. He's still surprised now, I'm sure. So how do you do this? How do you charge your tenants freaking maintenance fees? That's your freaking job. What are you doing? So striking earth. Yeah, this type of stuff, you should have some type of thing spelled out in your lease that tenants are responsible for damages. Pretty simple. You can interpret that a bunch of different ways. Let's talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, you should put some stuff in there. Remember, being upfront and educating your tenants on the rules, how renting from you is going to work. Again, remembering you're following your state laws. You can't agree to do stuff that's illegal with your tenant. We've seen all sorts of stuff. I've seen a certain type of studio in a basement apartment. In a basement rather. And one of the tenants was not needing to pay for rent because there was a studio in the basement that they mutually agreed to use instead of paying for rent. So we've seen it all. I tell you, man, that's actually happened twice. Crazy. But yes, you can charge for maintenance fees. At the very least, it'll cover the cost of your maintenance services at a minimum. Nothing necessarily wrong with maybe making a buck off of your maintenance service. So let's talk this out a little bit. It discourages tenant damages. Once again, just like late payment fees will discourage tenants from paying late. A maintenance fee might charge somebody, you might want to call this more of a damage fee, but it might encourage somebody to take better care of their home. So there's a couple of different ways to look at this, but seriously, when you look at maintenance, you might think, hey, maintenance means that if the toilet's clogged, it's the landlord's responsibility to unclog it. Well, sure, landlord's happy to unclog it, but I'm going to probably go ahead and charge a tenant for doing what caused the clog. I'll take care of it, absolutely. But I'm not going to financially shoulder the burden for somebody shoving a G.I. Joe doll down there, losing their car keys. We've seen everything go down toilets that's not supposed to be there. The blue rocks from the bottom of an aquarium, they use it like it's a trash can. We've seen everything. The steak bones, they would just scrape their dinner plates into the bathroom. Absolutely, you can charge for this kind of stuff, and you should. They get hit with some of these fees, they hopefully won't keep doing it. So without a doubt, very, very important stuff. Tenants should be charged disciplinary action at the very least, but the idea is it'll cover your cost. Now, if you got to replace a toilet because your tenant jammed something up so bad in the toilet that you can't get it snaked out, you can't get it taken care of otherwise, and the tenant has to actually be, the toilet has to be removed, maybe smashed, and you can pull out what the obstruction was, and you can show them right there. We've done that a number of times. You can charge them for the toilet, and you can charge them for your time. And if you're, so there's absolutely a way to make some money there. That money goes towards your bottom line, guys. This is a business. They damaged your business and your property. You can do this stuff. And if you already had a toilet, you can still charge them. Maybe you had a spare toilet. Maybe you were able to salvage one from another property. You can still charge for these kind of things. Easy to collect. Boom, security deposit. That's one of the great things about a security deposit. Somebody causes some damage at your apartment, you got to send maintenance out there to fix some stuff that they've done. You literally could just deduct it from the security deposit. I've had tenants that have been living in our apartments for several years. They never pay their maintenance fees, their damage fees, or any of the stuff that they've caused. I have tenants that have called for no heat in the middle of winter, stating, "Oh my God, we're freezing in here. We're all getting sick." And we'll go to the property. And in some cases, we've learned a lot to minimize these, but we'll troubleshoot them over the phone. Do you go to your thermostat? What does your thermostat read? Well, it says it's 74 degrees in here, but it's snowing outside. And if I touch the radiator's not hot. So your heat's not working. We're all going to die. And I'm like, yeah. So we try to explain to them, try to help them understand how heating works. And if they don't understand it and they still insist that it's freezing in there and it doesn't feel like 74 degrees, and we go out to the property, we evaluate everything, we test the system, everything's freaking working just fine. Yes, we're charging for our time. Absolutely, we're charging for our time. I don't want to take those calls every time it snows. They see snow falling, so they think it has to be, the fire has to be running, the steam has to be bursting out of the radiators. No. Not at all. Your apartment just needs to be kept to the right temperature, minimum sanitation code temperatures. We actually give tenants, a much more control over their thermostat themselves, where heat's included. But yeah, it will discourage it, and it's easy to collect if they won't pay it. So this is actually pretty cool stuff. They will. You can just take it right out of their security deposit, and you should. They're causing you time. They're damaging you, and that's what your security deposit is for. If you don't get them to pay it during the course of their tenancy. We've also used it as another tool to be flexible and waive things with. Challenges with this, tenants will dispute it. You're like, I'm not going to argue with somebody for half an hour about a $25 fee because some idiot crammed a Barbie doll down a toilet. I'm not going to do it or whatever. Tell you what, man, it's a $25 fee. You clearly clogged your own toilet. You called us because you didn't even own a plunger to take care of it yourself. We came out, we took care of it. You owe us $25. You agreed to this. It's in your lease. It's in the contract. All the stuff you agreed to. But I don't have time for this. Tell you what, we'll split it down the middle. Pay me $12.50. You get. Negotiate it down. Don't spend all day on a $25 fee. You can negotiate this stuff. So tenants dispute. It's time consuming. May result in increased vacancy. Somebody might be like, "Oh my God, my landlord charges me for every little thing living here." Yeah, every little thing that you break, I charge you for. You're darn right. Absolutely. Sure. But it might mean that they're going to move out. Now, you might be saying to yourself, why would I care? They sound terrible. Wouldn't you want them to leave? Well, yes and no. If somebody's putting in a couple of work orders a month for you to go out and repair something at their apartment and they're paying you, for whatever they broke or whatever they wore out or did something inappropriate with, then sure. Now, enforcement requires documentation. You got to document this stuff. You have to prove that you were there, that you did it. Maybe the documentation is part of the incoming maintenance request where you say, "Hey, listen," the tenant emails you and says, "Listen, my stupid kid, he lost his G.I. Joe doll and it went down the toilet. Now my toilet's clogged. Can you please come out and help me?" That's documentation. You go out there, you got a picture of G.I. Joe in the toilet and that it's all taken care of. You document that. And then a year later, when they dispute this and they're like, "Well, this is ridiculous." And, no, you got it all written down. You have it all documented. There's nothing they can do about it. Confuses tenant billing statements. Once again, just like late fees, you're going to have to keep these categories and things separate, and that can make some confusion. Some folks, especially when they owe money in a whole bunch of different ways because they're not very responsible, that could be very problematic, and they're going to also have a hard time understanding their balance. Enforcement's likely to require all departments. Remember, as you scale and as you grow, maybe as you take on partnerships like me and the landlord ninja on here, he handles the maintenance side of stuff. I'll handle the tenant side of stuff. And it's going to take some coordination between us to do that. If you're starting off, and I know a lot of you guys are starting off, this is the stuff you need to know. You're in the right place. Please follow and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can keep your learning with us for free. And if you're just starting off, you're a one-man show or just a couple of people, it's not a lot of inter-department cooperation or communication. You just have to remember to do all the different aspects of it. So that's a great question. Are there no fair housing issues with negotiating down maintenance charges? There might be, Matt. There could be. So you can't. The real important thing is you're charging everybody consistently for the same type of stuff. And even when you add a charge, you could dispute. It's somebody could make a claim. Well, you charged for my toilet issue, but you didn't charge for theirs. How is that fair? And one, we could say, well, listen, one was because your toilet was old, and actually, the issue wasn't 100% yours. Or the issue was 100% yours versus the other one, which was an older toilet and a malfunction. That's our thing. When you want to negotiate them down, that you might have a process that you negotiate them down with. So as long as you follow the same process of saying, listen, if somebody calls to complain or dispute a charge, our process, Your Honor, is to do this. We'll first offer, we'll first tell them, if they continue to object, we'll first knock it in half. If they continue to object, we'll escalate it and we'll waive it. So there are things like that. And then you can also do these things in court as part of an agreement for a non-payment of rent or an eviction or something like that. You can negotiate these things. It's separate. It's a part of a court negotiation or court agreement. So there's different ways to do it, but it's always good to have a good process. Not a bad idea to take some notes on what your process would be and write it down. How do you go digital and automate things if you're dealing with illiterate and elderly tenants? Well, that's a great question. So that is a great question. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but so with our onboarding process begins digitally. So people come to our website and they apply right there. So I don't know if that's an ableism issue or not. That's a good question to think about. But to a certain extent, some people can't visit a rental office. Some people can't use a telephone. At what point do you kind of cut off what is the minimum? So what we do for most of our tenants, once they live with us, is they have access to the telephone through a voicemail line. They can write to us, postal mail. We have a physical office, and we use internet. Now, everybody uses the internet. So almost nobody takes advantage of those other options, but we do have them available and out there. So if you're illiterate, I guess you can't send a written request, right, for maintenance. Is that discriminatory? There's always going to be find a way. Look at America these days. People always try to find a way to feel like they're victimized somehow or not being treated fairly. So people will find enough ways to do it and poke enough holes in almost any situation. The trick is, with all this kind of stuff, the trick is to minimize this. So you're doing as simply as best of a job, as foolproof of a job as possible. But there's no such thing as 100%. You want to strive for as close to 99 and higher as you can get. Okay, so we talked about maintenance fees, charging maintenance fees. This is only for guys. You're not talking about charging for stuff that is your responsibility. I am not going to charge a tenant for going up and fixing a roof. That's not, of course, not what we're talking about. I think that's understood, but I want to make sure that that's clear. You're not talking about replacing the heating system after it's 10, 20, 50, or 500 years old and saying, oh, tenant, you know what? While you lived here, the heating system crashed, so shell out 20 grand. Nothing like that. We're talking about maintenance fees. You might want to call them damage fees. They're usually related where somebody essentially did something to your property. It's tenant responsible for, tenant caused, or tenant negligence that incurred a cost to you. So I'm going to... No, we deduct these things at the end of the tenancy is when we then go through the security deposit and apply any open balances or charges, things like that, for maintenance and damages to the apartment. So you don't touch the security deposit until the end of their tenancy, and then you reconcile that security deposit. Great question. And folks, if you're not wondering where these questions are coming from over there on TikTok, they're coming from our YouTube Live, which is where we had a lot of viewers over there checking us out, asking us questions and making comments. Please take a second, find us on YouTube Live at Two Guys Take on Real Estate right now, so your questions can get heard as well, and we'll be able to help you over there. We have a huge amount of videos out there on YouTube for you, full length, much more in depth than you can, of course, find on TikTok. And you can get to our YouTube channel by clicking the Stand With Me link as well. And if you're interested in learning more about this stuff and doing mentorships, we now finally have implemented a way for us to do mentorships for you. So if you want to invest a few bucks in your education, in your pursuit of being successful in real estate, you have one property, you have 0 properties, and you want to get to that point where you're financially free, we have a very, very inexpensive mentorship program. So I would definitely ask you to check that out in our Stand With Me link. So many people have asked about it. And I want to make sure people know that we are finally now offering it. Implementation of maintenance fees, they add up, man. Resolving tenant cause issues and cost time and money and needs to be covered. This will bleed you dry if you don't cover maintenance expenses. You need to be holding people responsible and financially accountable for your maintenance costs whenever you have the opportunity to. Otherwise, you will lose. You're going to wonder where all your money went. That's where your money went. To enforce this, all departments need to be involved. If you're a one-man show, I get it. But your maintenance department needs to resolve the actual maintenance issue and document it. I should just say document it with pics, detailed and signed work orders, invoice. You need to document this stuff. At some point, this could come up. You have to assume you're going to have to explain your whole situation to a judge. So that's the way I always try to look at this stuff. And I say, listen, maintenance, if you get a call or a communication from a tenant who needs you to go fix rescue Barbie doll from the toilet, you need to all this stuff needs to be gathered up so we're protected later. Document. Tenant relations department. This is the people handling the tenants. Again, this is just you with your tenant, your landlord tenant hat on. Handle setting the tenant's expectations. That's huge. Listen, we'll be over within 24 hours to resolve your issue. Just so this is one of those things that we do charge for. You broke a window, it does say right in your lease, you have to pay for the window, that kind of stuff. Set the expectation. You don't need to pay it today. Right on the spot. We're going to fix whatever you broke, no matter what, we're going to do it. We're going to do it right now. But we want you to pay. We want you to pay within 30 days, whatever you agreed on. Handle resulting complaints, right? Court action to recover fees. Again, depending on what kind of fees we're talking about. I've got tenants that have hundreds of dollars of fees, thousands of dollars of fees that are outstanding on their accounts. I can't evict them for non-payment of rent because it's not rent. It's late fees or it's maintenance fees or all these other things. But you can, of course, take them to small claims court for it. If somebody damaged your car in a parking lot, you're going to deal with that kind of the same way. You're going to say, listen, just fix the side view mirror that you knocked off and we're good, And folks on TikTok, I appreciate it. I see that there's a lot of writing on there. Please take a second, find us over on YouTube. This is incredibly awesome stuff for people that are either just have very few properties, are beginners to real estate investing, or have zero properties and want to learn before they leap into it. We're going over all the stuff, all the ways to maximize your income from a rental property, and I want you all to have access to this. So please tap your screens to share likes with us so that more people will find us on the as they browse through our live coverage. Okay, we're going to move on to the next implementation. Accounting-wise, continued. Receiving charge notification from maintenance. So maintenance goes out, they fixed an issue, and they say, wow, this is like freaking tenant caused nightmare over there. And they write it all up. They have to get that to accounting. And remember, maybe this is all you. You are the same person for all this stuff. And they got to get it over to accounting. You say, okay, listen, accounting then applies a charge to the tenant's account. And then tenant relations, your interaction with tenant hat, they go to collection whenever it gets unpaid. So they start handling saying, listen, Larry, you've been with us for a while. We appreciate working with you, but you remember how you called us a couple times to fix issues of things that you damaged? Well, you never did pay us for it like you're supposed to. We need that to take care happen, Handle account statement questions, refer complaints to TR. Pretty straightforward stuff. People are going to say, no, I don't understand. This isn't right. I shouldn't have to pay for that. No problem. Accounting is going to have to swing that over to the tenant relations person. Again, maybe it's all you. That's awesome. No problem. You're starting off. That's the idea. But these are the different kind of personalities or aspects of the management business you're going to have. Procedure. Tenant department provides a fee sheet to all current tenants, adds it to move-in packet, notifying tenants of costs of common services. Orientation is key. Like I keep saying, set those expectations super early. These people need to know all about this stuff when they move in, before they move into the property, before they sign the paperwork. This stuff is, it's key. So you won't have confusion and an adversarial relationship with a tenant if you've done all this kind of stuff, and all of the information is all the way up front for them. So have a fee sheet. It says, listen, general, regular type of maintenance labor. You punch a hole in the wall. You want us to go out there and fix it and stuff like that. It's like this. It's $25 or whatever it is, $30 an hour. I don't know. But listen, maybe you wreck the heating system somehow. I've seen it all. I'm trying to think of a great example off the top of my head, but you get the idea. Maybe it's a specialized thing. where somebody did something, I don't know, and you need to send an electrician. Going to cost a little bit more per hour for an electrician than it is to have somebody that's just skilled at patching walls, right? So this is really the important kind of stuff to make sure you take care of up front, is get everybody started on the same page. I see some comments coming in. What programs do you use to keep track of accounting? We use we use Rent Manager for our stuff because we've outgrown property management software like Rent Ready. But you should definitely, if you're smaller, getting your first house, have maybe 5 or 6 properties, something in there. You want to check out some Rent Ready. That's RENTREDI, Rent Ready. Spelled a little bit weird. There's a link in our Stand With Me link in our bio and descriptions as well. And then here you go. So will this video be saved for later viewing? Yes, if you're on YouTube right now and you're watching, thanks so much for being here. And if you can't finish this off, it will be on YouTube for you to stream later. Please take a second, make sure you like this video, share it with anybody you know. We want to help more people with our free information and education for everything real estate related. And if you're still on TikTok watching, we appreciate you being here. But seriously, you can find us on YouTube. We're going to do our best about answering all of your questions there on YouTube about how to maximize profits from your first few rental properties. If you haven't bought a property yet, you're in the right place. This is not advanced stuff. This is beginner level stuff. But we didn't know this when we started off. So please take it from us. We wish we knew this information. It would have made us more money. It would have saved us a lot of headaches. And we want to pay it forward now, share this stuff with you guys for free. So yeah, getting on the same page is important. Maintenance workers are trained to document work orders. Man, getting a tenant. You know how many times people have been like, no, my landlord no fix nothing. And I'm like, I got a stack of paperwork from you showing that I went out to your house. We've been fixing a ton of stuff. Screw you, buddy. It's got their signature right on it. You got a picture right there of whatever we fixed that month in their apartment. We hear that stuff all the time. So we know if you can provide documentation, people are going to lie. They're going to BS. They're going to do whatever they can sometimes to get ahead or save themselves some financial expense, even if it means hurting you to do it. So be prepared for that by just simply having the stuff well documented, making sure whoever you're sending your property is documenting it. I would never have a snow removal company go shovel my sidewalks or driveways at a property without taking a photograph before and after. Crazy not to, because you know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to literally at some point, somebody's going to turn around, they're going to injure themselves, or they're just going to claim that they did it themselves. Bottom line is you're going to be held responsible. They're going to say, you never come out and do this. I always have to do it, or I keep slipping and falling. Do the job, but then document the fact that the job got done. Huge, huge stuff, guys. Don't mistake me on this. That's not a small thing. So make sure they're trained well. Whoever's doing it, yourself maybe. Completed work orders are reviewed by a supervisor, and then they determine if there's a fee. So maybe you don't just go invoicing tenants for something that somebody that's trained for this stuff doesn't review. So if a tenant calls in and says, hey, I got no heat, and you get out there and they in fact had a heating issue, fix it, great, but you're not charging a fee for that, obviously. But if you get out there and they don't have any heat because they have their thermostat switched off and they didn't even turn the heat up, they wasted your time. You had to fly over there in the middle of the night because you don't want them and their kids to freeze. And it's because these boneheads, one of the kids is playing with it, or these people just didn't look at it and turn it off. They just didn't do the right thing. So this way, you can review and decide if a fee should be applied or not. Accounting is notified, and to add detailed charges to the tenant's accounts. Tenants are going to review their accounting. Sometimes these fees might sit on there for 6 months, maybe 6 years. And it's really important for them to look back and be like, well, I don't understand. You just threw a $50 charge here and a $100 charge here. You're just trying to screw me. No, this was, we had to come out and fix we had an emergency call for heat. There was no problem. That's your fault. There was an emergency call because you clogged up the toilet with little Susie's G.I. Joe or Barbie doll or whatever. And, for these kind of things, we do charge. You knew this. Quarterly account statements are mailed. Absolutely important stuff. Send them out. Let people get notified. Procedurally, accounting handles billing questions. A complaint dispute. Tenants are directed to the tenant relations people. Again, this might be all you as you're starting off. No problem. Past due fees are subject to small claims action if worthwhile. Absolutely. Why not? And then outstanding fees are able to be deducted from security deposit upon move out. There you go. So somebody moves out of your apartment. Somebody, I know you were asking about that. One of the YouTube questions. We're on YouTube Live right now, by the way. Everybody on TikTok that's still viewing. YouTube Live is Two Guys Take on Real Estate. And you can find us in the Stand With Me link over there. But there you go. Take it right from the security deposit when they leave if they don't pay you the right way. Include utilities. Nobody thinks you should be able to include utilities. Who thinks it's ridiculous to actually make money by including utilities? Can you do that? How do you make money by including utilities? How can you make money by including heat and hot water in a rental apartment? You would lose money. You're going to provide heat and hot water. Give me a one somewhere. Give me a one right now if you think it doesn't make any sense. It's counterintuitive. One if you think you shouldn't make money or you couldn't make money by including utilities. I love this. It's one of my, I do. Rob beat me to it. How fast do you fix a hole in the wall before I move on to that? Yeah, a couple of weeks. No, we're not running over there with lights and sirens on to fix a hole in the wall. There's emergency stuff we handle within 24 hours. After that, anytime up to 30 days, nothing takes us 30 days for a maintenance request. So Kevin loves utilities and rent. You should love including utilities and rent. My God, including heat and hot water. If nobody gave me a one, I hope I'm giving you some information. Maybe you'll be able to watch this on replay. But absolutely include utilities and rent if you can manage it properly. There's a lot of ways to screw this up. If you're on your A game and you're going to be putting your full attention to these properties and you want to be as profitable as possible, then one right there, include those utilities. And we're going to show you how you can do this. Not for the faint of heart, not for the weak. I hate you. Come on. Speaking of hating utilities included, Matt just commented he hates doing it. Not for the faint of heart, not for the weak. I don't know. He's a strong one. It's all right. We know that. Makes a point. Why include utilities? Well, it makes apartments more appealing. People love having utilities included. And we're talking heat and hot water, not like electricity and all this other stuff, but there's ways to do that too. Significant profit increase over 1 year. Profit, I'm going to talk about it. Profit, that's why you're doing this. You're not doing this as a charity thing. This is something you can make money on, guys. Many apartments have efficient heating systems. Hopefully you bought a Burr property, you put in a brand new heating system. That sucker's pretty efficient. That's good for you. You don't want to do this with a inefficient apartment. Good solution to anti-oil tenants. Look, in our area, a lot of heating systems are run by oil. A lot of tenants hate oil heat. Can somebody give me a guess? Legitimately, take a second here. Why do tenants hate oil heating systems? Tell me why in the chat. I'm going to be trying to see the TikTok chat as well. Why do tenants hate oil heat? In my state, Massachusetts, we got a lot of oil heating systems. Why don't tenants like oil heat? Why are they anti-oil? Tell me your guesses. Throw me some guesses. Anything will do. Come on, I want to hear it. I see oil is expensive. Yeah, oil is expensive. It goes up and down. I think lately stuff's probably been going up. I got expensive. When oil runs out, it's out. Well, what does that mean, Lisa? That's a great point. What does that mean, though? Why do people hate oil heat? When it runs out, what happens? You got to buy more, right? It's flammable and it takes so long. Everything's flammable, though. Gas. You don't get heat with gas because it saves you money. No, oil doesn't really. I don't think oil saves us some money. It's expensive, I think, is part of it. They don't have heat. They have to buy more. 100% right. Slowest form of heat? No. So yes, maybe some of those things are true, but that's not really the reason. Most tenants hate oil heat. Let me let you in on this. This is some experience here talking. They hate oil heat because they don't have the money to put the oil in the tank. They don't have. In most places are going to deliver whatever, a couple hundred gallons or whatever it's going to be. They're not going to deliver $50 worth of oil, which is what when that tenant ran out and they don't put money. Many tenants don't fill their tanks or put oil in their tank until they ran out. You never want to run out of oil in your tank in an oil heating system because there's sludge that collects at the bottom of these tanks and incredibly harmful to heating systems. We've lost heating systems that way. But most importantly, when that oil tank runs out, not only is there heat out, but now the tenant has to make an emergency delivery. They get charged more on an emergency basis to get the oil company to come out, put oil in the tank, and they don't have $500. They got $50. And an oil company is not coming out in the middle of winter at night to put $50 in your oil in your tank. So they have to have large chunks of money to do it. It's slippery. I love it. So never any fun to refill it. Yeah, it's a lot, and they don't budget. This isn't something, again, your C and D class type of properties. They don't have $500. Maybe they do, but they're going to spend it on a different way. They don't want to spend it on that. They think it's super expensive. They don't have the money for it. They let the tank run out, maybe cause damage to the heating system. That could get them in a lot of trouble with this guy, their landlord. And then they don't have money to pay for the oil company to come out on an emergency basis and do at least a 50% fill up. So there's a lot with that. So that's why they don't like oil heat. If you're supplying the oil, they could care less what kind of oil, what kind of heat type it is. So how fast do you need to complete non-emergency repairs? It's a great question. Our state generally is like 30 days. If the tenant were to call the code enforcement department and they cited the issue, they're probably going to give you 30 days to reinspect it to see that you repaired it. But we do it. You should do it as fast as possible because that's your customer service. I mean, you're in business providing a service to somebody. You want to keep your customers reasonably happy. What about when a tenant makes modification that was not approved, installed new thermostats? Yeah, it depends on what kind of modification it is. You should have a clause in your lease that always requires any alteration to be approved in writing. You don't want to be jamming people up or giving them a really hard time if these folks aren't really, if it's not that bad of an alteration. Do I record my lives? We do. We have them on YouTube, so please find us on YouTube. It's Two Guys Take on Real Estate. There's a bunch of people over there, more than it's on TikTok, I think, right now. You can find us there. We have a wealth of information for you for free on our YouTube channel. You can also have access to me live in person on Zoom meetings when we do our group mentorships and our mentoring programs that you can subscribe to as well, which is a new thing that we're finally offering. You can find that in our Stand With Me link. All right, I want to move on to this. Challenges, time intensive, no heat calls. You're going to include heat and hot water in an apartment, and then you start getting those calls like we were just talking about on our live earlier, right? You got to come running out. It's freezing. The heat's not working. What the hell? I'm paying for my apartment to have heat, and there's no heat. And you get there, and it's 72 degrees in the apartment. Sorry, there's heat. It's absolutely working. You set your expectations early that you're always going to heat the home in the daytime to at least 68 degrees. You've got it heated to 72. They say there's no heat. You get out there, and you look, and you test everything. You got thermometers, and you do your whole thing. You make sure you can see it and show it. 72 degrees. You're going to get a lot of these calls because people are mad and think that it should be warm. I don't know, but you're going to get those calls a little bit more when you're including heat. Costly, a system is exploited. Well, I think that's the obvious one, and I mean, I'm sure everybody's like, dude, they're all going to screw with you. They're going to crank up the heat. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Yeah. So you have to be on your A game. I said that from the beginning. You got to be on your A game, but there are ways to include heat in your rental apartment and make money doing it. If you're new to TikTok, follow us. If you're new to YouTube and you're on our live stream right now and you haven't liked this video, take a second. Geez, like this video. This is free stuff. We'd really appreciate that. And then also drop a subscribe. And when you get there, ring that notifications bell because there's some videos coming up that are going to blow your socks off. I don't want you to miss out on them. So keep sticking around with us. And if you're new to real estate, you don't own a real estate property, you've never owned a property, and you want to learn before you leap, take a second and make sure you're watching more of our stuff by hitting the follow button. All right. So many apartments have questionable or inefficient heating systems. If you've been on our lives and you're a fan of some of our lives, you saw one just the other day. We went into a basement and there was this behemoth of a heating system. This thing was freaking huge. It looked like the abominable what? The abominable what? What have you been seeing on our lives in some of these basements? It's been crazy. The abominable snowman. Nobody seems to know what a snowman heating system is. This is killing me. Does anybody know what a snow? Look, I'm going to go back to the ones and zeros, right? Ready? If you know what a snowman heating system is, give me a 1. Give me a 0 if you've never heard or never seen an abominable snowman heating system. What's 1 if you know what a snowman heating system is? 0 if you don't know what a snowman heating system is. This is incredible because I know people will be including heat with a snowman. Give me a 0. Never heard of it? You've never heard of a snowman. Okay, we got a 0. We got a whole bunch of zeros from the TikTok crowd. And I know all the people over on YouTube, maybe they fall asleep at their computers. I'm not sure. But I don't see any 1s or 0s there. What's going on, guys? You guys... All right. Well, I'm not sure what's happening with our YouTube people, but nobody seems to know what it is. Oh, yeah, God, there they go. Okay, they're coming in now. A little delayed reaction. So 0s over there on YouTube, 0s on TikTok. A snowman heating system is this big, monstrous heating system, and usually found in, everywhere, but a lot of multifamilies in our area had them. Now, why is the fact that a huge heating system probably not a great thing when you see these things in a multifamily home? Because you don't need a huge heating system. The newer stuff, they fit in like closets. They're tiny. I mean, they weigh, they're very small and compact. They're efficient. A snowman heating system is the opposite of all that. It is this dinosaur of a heating system. Thing is a big old cast iron thing, and it's all white. That's why it's called a snowman. The thing is huge. It's about the size of a big person. You can't get your arms around them. They're massive. We've been seeing them on some of our lives. Why is it such a crazy thing? they're like 30% efficient. You put $1 worth of fuel in there and about 70% of it goes right up the chimney. So you're absolutely just wasting money on efficiency. But why is it white? Why is the snowman heating system? Obviously it's white. That's why they call it a snowman. It's the size of a person. It's white. It's got the arms going off of it. It's white because it's insulated. What's the insulation that they use on a snowman heating system? Any idea? What do they use for insulation on a snowman? What's that white stuff that they're using on there? I can't believe everybody should know this by now. If you've been watching our channel and watching our lives, I want to know what you think it is. Somebody give me the answer. Ding, 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 ding. Lisa got it first over here on our TikTok live. Yep. So asbestos, and there's Rob with it right there. I think YouTube has a lag. We'll give Rob some credit. 100%, it's asbestos. You got heating system. If your heating system is covered in asbestos, don't include heat. That thing is horribly, horribly outdated. You're going to be losing money. By including utilities, you're going to be losing more money in your rentals. If you have a property that includes utilities and you're a landlord and you're renting that sucker out, stop that practice. If you're using a snowman or an older heating system, terrible, terrible. I got styrofoam. That was a great guess, but no, asbestos, unbelievable stuff. Stay away from that kind of thing. 100%. Upgrade it. Get rid of that snowman. Put yourself a nice, efficient heating system in there, and then you can start including utilities and make money. Seriously, big difference right here, guys. You're gonna be hating life if you're a landlord. You include utilities in your old snowman heating system. Don't do it. All right, moving on. Implementation. So maintenance is going to need to designate which apartments have highly efficient heating systems. Highly efficient heating systems, not the snowman. We need to know. So again, assuming you're working with partners or other people, this is still for beginners, for people that are new to real estate, you're getting into it. You should be if you're looking at property, you're trying to decide if you're going to buy it or not, evaluate it. If it's got a highly efficient heating system in it, that might be a freaking cool purchase. And that might be something that you say, wow, I should rent this with heat and hot water. And then you run your property analysis numbers with that. If you run your property analysis numbers with heat included in a poorly or a low efficient heating system property, you're going to be in for a wake-up call your first winter, and you're going to want to get out of the business. Let me tell you right there. These apartments should be fitted with digital display, limited thermostats. Limited, ladies and gentlemen, limited thermostats. What's a limited thermostat do, and why is that important to you? Simple stuff. Give me a like for limited thermostats right here. Make sure your tenants know that you're going to comply with all your state heating season requirements by keeping your heat in our area 68 at least in the daytime, 64 at least in the nighttime. They actually give you the hours a day because everybody turns the heat down when they go to bed at night, except for people that except for people that have their heat and hot water included. So if the landlord's paying it, that they're cranking it as high as they can, you're going to tell them, I'm including heat as part of this. I'm going to observe heating season requirements as set out by the state laws that I'm responsible for following. However, I'm going to give you a thermostat where you have full control over the functioning of your heat, on, off, up, down. Some people like it cooler, some people like it warmer, but it's going to be limited to going up into the 70s, which is still phenomenally warm. And if a landlord's supplying heat, I guarantee most landlords do not do this. You can be that awesome person who allows their heat to go up to 72 degrees. So we have thermostats in all of our properties that include heat, and they have full control over their heating system. But once they get their thermostat up to 72, no matter how much they hit that button, it's not going to go any higher than that. I am so sick of people answering the door with a tank top on or shorts, unless they're kind of cute, a tank top on or shorts or less, no footwear, no socks, and they're talking about how they're freezing their apartment and we need to turn the heat up. And I get in there, and it's over 72. It's like sometimes it's actually 73 in the apartment. And I'm like, put some socks on. Matt actually did that to somebody one time. He said, dude, maybe put a sweatshirt on if you feel cold. I don't know what to tell you. It's, if this was spring, you'd have the windows open. You'd have your car doors, windows down, and be taking a cruise and blasting some tunes and loving it, But you're telling me it's cold. Maybe put a sweatshirt on. This tenant actually told him she can't wear a sweatshirt. She's claustrophobic. We don't make this stuff up, man. I don't need to. We've heard all the ridiculous things out there. Tenant relations. That's your tenant relations hat. They can negotiate a price of at least $150 per month higher for the inclusion of utilities. Guys, I'm going to tell you, that number is soft. That number is real soft. I would think you can go probably $250 a month higher when you include heat and hot water. And that, my friends, is where you can really that's how you make your cash. I try to get this centered a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I know we still have people on TikTok that haven't switched over to our YouTube live stream. Guys on TikTok, 2 guys taking real estate live on YouTube. Please come over and find us so you can see the whole screen, and we can go through this better. But you're going to bump the rent to $250 when you include heat and hot water. Now, the awesome thing about that, I'm sorry, and if a tenant declines inclusion, maybe you have the option. You can just use a regular thermostat. It's their heat. Let them waste it as much as they want. They want to crank it to 80, let them crank it to 80. But seriously, guys, you can adjust the rent to $250. I should have put this in bold like 5 times. But if you're including heat and hot water, how do you make money off of your apartment? That's what this whole thing is about. How to make the most money possible on your rental properties, how to save money from getting bled out, how to make the most money coming in. And we've gotten to the part where we're talking about including utilities, which everybody thinks is stupid because you can't do that. How are you going to make any money by including heat and hot water? It's going to raise your costs tremendously. Tenants are going to crank the heat. Tenants are going to do this. Well, that's true. But we talked about how to avoid tenants from manipulating the system. Now we're talking about what's in it for you. Bump that rent $250. Makes sense. You buy a car, right? You pay $20,000. Nobody's buying whatever you're buying for a car. $20,000, right? You buy a car with leather seats, more stuff included. What happens to the price? It's a higher price. It's $22,000. Want a sunroof on that car? No problem. We're included sunroof, $23,000. Want to keep going? No problem. So same thing here. You're adding more to the equation. You're adding more to what you're serving and what you're offering for your services. You're now including heat and hot water in your apartment. In Massachusetts, for instance, right here, you're adding $250. So we'll say it's a $1,500 apartment, and you add $250 to include the heat and the hot water to it. So you're now charging $1,750 in rent every month. And that's my point. Every month. You have an efficient heating system, and the tenants aren't able to exploit it. Now, the frozen bag of peas thing, we know people can still do that, but you can take some steps to balance that out too. But you're charging $250 a month every heating month out there. Every January, every February, every month that your heating system's running, the rent is an extra $250. It's $1,750. But guess what? That's the rent in July too, and in June, and in August when the heat's not running. You're still freaking paying. They're still paying you $1,750. You're paying the increased price all year round. So you're pulling in $250 a month every month of their lease, and you're providing heat in the cold heating season months. So if you have a energy efficient apartment with decent windows, and again, if you did a burst strategy and you renovated this property, this is your first property, you did a good job on it, good windows, updated heating system, and a limited thermostat are the first few ways to get started. You're not going to have massive heating bills that are going to be that much more than $250, maybe $300 a month here and there or something, right? Maybe $400. So what? Those months, you're pulling in the extra $250, and your heating bill was $400. Big deal. Because in July, your heating bill is how much? It's $0, right? And you're pulling in that extra $250. This is an incredible stuff. So again, this is in Massachusetts where you're including heat and hot water. Obviously, I see a comment from Rob, 0 in California. Yeah, it depends on where you are, I suppose, right? You got some seasons in some areas in California too. But I mean, in Massachusetts, we got all different areas. We have all the different seasons. So my heat doesn't run. My heat's not running right now at my house. It won't be running. For me, it's not going to run until November. I will freeze before I turn my heat on before November. But that's the way it goes. Can we provide a link to the presentation behind me? Great presentation. It would be good to have some reminders, such as an informative and comprehensive, with some reminders with such an informative and comprehensive presentation. It's a great YouTube comment. Thank you very much, Harry. And folks that are on TikTok right now, please, if you want to ask questions or have comments, be read or discussed, please find us by following the 2 Guys Taking Real Estate, the link to our YouTube channel. We're on live on YouTube right now. But there you go. So, yes, this will be something we'll make available. It'll be in the Stand With Me link, Harry, on our bio and in our description. So when you click that Stand With Me link, you're going to see a bunch of things. We actually have another presentation I did recently. We actually did it at one point kind of for free for a few people as a sneak peek. But I think we have it up there for $7. This one we'll probably put on as well. I'm going to try to get it on there for free for a little bit anyway, too. So everybody should be going to our Stand With Me link all the time. Anything we got for free, snag that stuff whenever you can. So whenever you tune into our channel, find that Stand With Me link, click on and download anything that we're giving out for free, because that stuff's going to change out all the time. We offer a bunch of other stuff out there too. Like we'll make a video personally just for you. If you have a question you want to ask us, we'll formulate a response and record a video for you. We'll also do mentorships, which will give you a lot of access to us as well as live interaction on a Zoom call. Okay, so let's procedure. How do you include the utilities? Maintenance is going to determine efficiency of heating systems in available apartments. Again, if you're a one-man show, you're pretty easy, right? It's all you, and that's cool. That's how we started off. It was all just us. So we know what apartments we should include heat on, what apartments we should probably not. And we didn't really have any snowmen. Now you know what a snowman is. We didn't have any snowman heating systems, but we still had some older heating systems and some brand new ones that we just installed. If we bought a house and it was run down or distressed and we had to fix it up, sometimes the heating system was operable and we didn't need to replace it right then, and we could get another 5 years out of it. It's not the most efficient, but it's not like an old snowman. So on the other hand, we wanted to make sure if we're going to include utilities, we're going to include heat, we're not going to get burned. Heat, burned. I could be here all day. All right, so awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Harry. Thanks for listening. And please, by all means, take a second and subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you haven't already over on our YouTube Live. Same with you, everybody on TikTok. Please find us over there. So figure out which ones are efficient. Real important. Install digital limited thermostat. Hugely important. I love the digital ones. Why? Not the analog ones. Okay, the digital ones. Why? Because first thing I'm going to do when a tenant contacts us about an emergency, no heat, that's an emergency. We resolve that stuff within 24 hours. If there's an actual issue, I am booking that tenant a hotel room, a nice one, not a dumpy one. I'll make a freaking nice one until we get that issue resolved. I'm booking them a hotel room. Every single person that rents from me, any family or individual, has a warm place to stay and a place that has a working heating system and all the accommodations that are my responsibility to provide. So I want to avoid that because one of the first things I'm going to do when somebody contacts us and says, hey, Kev, oh my God, we're all freezing. The heat doesn't work. Got a lot of experience with this. So now I don't send somebody running right over there because that costs me time and money. What I do is I pick up the phone, I get these people on the phone, and I start troubleshooting first to try to determine if I still need to send somebody out there. Almost 50% of those calls during the heating season are calls that are resolved on the phone without having to make a property visit. That's huge, guys. That makes big bucks difference to your bottom line. So please jot that one down too. But one of those things I do on that troubleshooting call is I tell them, go over to your thermostat. Look at it. Don't touch it. Look at it. Sometimes you got to dumb it down a little bit. It's a digital display thermostat. What number does it say on it? It's got a number, right? What number does it say on it? It says 74. Okay, so that's the temperature of the air, at least right around where the thermostat is. The thermostat almost always in the living room, the largest, most centrally area room of the house. The bedrooms are off around that. So if the living room's 74, chances are the bedrooms are probably pretty darn close, maybe only 72. I don't know, but they're probably pretty darn close. So troubleshooting, digital thermostat, huge help. Otherwise, they're looking at a needle. Well, it's kind of between the 60 and like the 80, and I just don't know. Depends on which side, which way you look at it. No, this is 74. It says 74. Maybe it's 73. Maybe the thing's off, right? But it's you have a pretty good indication of what it is. Offer the tenant a choice as a selling point at the showing, right? I see a TikTok comment, Ryan saying it entices more people. I'm guessing he means whether or not to have heat included in the rent. Absolutely. It entices more people. You're giving them a choice. You could not give them a choice. You could say this apartment is rented with heat and hot water included, or this apartment is not rented with heat and hot water included. And you could take that choice away if you really have a preference or simply a deal breaker preference for you. But otherwise, you say, listen, hey, hey Harry, I'm from YouTube. I want to rent you this apartment. Tell you what, you want to take it? It's $1,500 with no utilities included, $1,750, and I'll take care of your heat and hot water. You know why a lot of people want apartments that have heat and hot water included? Because they owe the gas company a ton of money. They racked up money with the oil companies in town, the electric company. I don't know. They're putting they went through their kids' names to put their gas bills in. They ran those out, so they can't get utilities into their name. They love it when they can move into an apartment with heat and hot water included. You might not love it because if they're not paying a gas company and all these other places, good luck getting paid yourself for your services. Thoroughly explain sanitary code and heat regulation at showing and again at move-in. Sorry, I should have put a little period there. Again, get people off on the right page, and orientation is super important. And make sure When they see an apartment, you tell them how it works. You tell them heat's included here. So in the wintertime, your heat, you're gonna have a digital thermostat right here. You can push the button, you can crank it all the way up into the 70s. Most landlords don't do that when they include heat and hot water. So you should be warm all the time. We'll pay the bill. You just pay us. You one place, one fee. You don't have to set up any accounts, none of that crap. They love it, and they know what their expenses are going to be every month. It's always $1,750. It's not like $1,500 one month, but a $500 heating bill, and then the next month it's $300. It's always a consistent thing, and it's one-stop payment shopping. All right, accounting department monitors utility bills for excessive costs. So we talked about that a little bit with water. This is I don't know if that video went live yet, but I've got a great one about water utility, water and sewer bills. Keep an eye on your bills. If you're the one-man show, right, you're the one paying the heating bills. You see that all of a sudden, you got a 3-family house and one of the units has a bill that's 50% more than the other apartments. Something's not right. Get the heck out there right away and do an inspection. Check your heating system. Check for tenant behavioral stuff. They probably tampered with something. Maybe they got windows open. Windows open are a no-go. I don't understand. I got a whole bunch of weirdos on TikTok that are trying to tell me in a video about this that it's perfectly fine to have multiple windows in the apartment left open all winter long, no matter what, if the landlord's paying for the apartment heat. I said, if it's 72 degrees in there, it's not like the apartment's overheated and the landlord's in the wrong by cranking the heat and it's 100 degrees because their system sucks. That's not what we're talking about. You should not have to open the windows to regulate temperature. They just want a fresh air. They just want breeze rolling in. No. That's fine for a minute. You burn some toast, open your window, cool. But not for 10 hours a day. Absolutely not. Not for 24/7. So you got to make sure that you're not having any tenant tampering or any kind of issues that are going on inside the property or a malfunction of the heating system that's causing it to rack up excessive costs. You see something, you spot that bill, that's like, oh my God, that guy got burned for a whole month. I got to get out there and take care of it right away. So you get out there and do it. There you go. I think that should be bringing me to the end. Whew. Yeah. So what I want to tell you is you can find this on our YouTube channel. You're going to find this presentation. Right? Just please find us. And what I would ask you to do is subscribe. This stuff is free. All we ask is that you pay some credit back to us by giving us a subscription and hitting that notifications bell. Because if this was useful for you, please take a second, find it, and make sure you watch the upcoming videos. If you like this, if you thought I'm getting close to buying my first rental property, or I've got a couple of rental units and I want to be able to scale up, stick with us. We're going to keep teaching you this stuff on YouTube for free. It's Two Guys Take on Real Estate. We really, really, really appreciate you all being here and being part of our broadcast on both TikTok and on YouTube. But for the YouTube folks who were able to be with us, sticking with us and getting their questions and comments read, we would love to be able to do more. So I want to make sure that you guys know that this stuff is available for you. We have a lot of stuff in the Stand With Me link on our TikTok bio and in our YouTube descriptions, where you can actually tune into our Stand With Me link. You can find a whole bunch of different ways. You can get actual one-on-one time with us. You can do group Zoom meetings with us. You can actually learn a lot more by using some of the tools we have, like a rental property analysis sheet. If you haven't thought of some of the stuff that we talked about today, about how you can actually include heat and hot water in an apartment and make more money on it, that's one of the great things you can use a rental analysis sheet for. Invest in yourself a little bit with your time by learning from us. And for a few bucks here and there, we can help you out tremendously. But all of our video content on our YouTube channel for everybody over there is that's hanging out with us on our YouTube live stream. All of our YouTube content is completely free, and it's way longer form than what you have on TikTok to work with. So if you're serious about improving yourself, and you can skip tuning into Kardashian-related stuff or any of that trash television that everybody loves, and spend a little bit of time on our television channel on YouTube, we'll be really, really happy to help you find a path to financial freedom faster than we were able to, because we went through all of this stuff with no mentorship, no knowledge, and no experience. So we're going to be your online YouTube mentor. If you've been watching our broadcast this whole time, I'm Kevin. I'm the Property Prince from YouTube and Two Guys Take on Real Estate. And we're going to be doing this again every week. We're going to be doing this live stream right here on YouTube. If you ring the notifications bell, you'll get a reminder before I hop on live so you don't miss out the beginning of our videos. Some of this stuff's really, really helpful and important to almost everybody getting started in real estate. So we talk about flips, we talk about wholesale deals, we talk about rental property and owning them. So every aspect of rentals, of real estate stuff we cover so that you have the ability to choose what works best for you, to pivot your business to survive, a changing market. So I really, really hope you guys are able to stick with us, that you subscribe. If you haven't already, for some reason, please, everybody go to my YouTube channel and give us some likes. Help us out a little bit. We do a lot of stuff on here for free, for your benefit. And we would love it if you could help us grow our presence over on YouTube as well, because that's where our platform is going to have the most room for growth, especially with these longer format lives that we're able to put out there. So we got to make sure everybody's hitting the like button. I see. It's a great comment. We got 11 people watching right now. It should be at least 11 likes. Sometimes people maybe have to do it later. I don't really know how it works, but please click the thumbs up like button on our YouTube channel. Take a second out of your day and help us grow at Two Guys Take on Real Estate on YouTube. Thanks, everybody, for being part of this. We're going to have, hopefully next time that we're live here, it won't just be the Property Prince, the Landlord Ninja will be joining us. And we'll be having a little bit more of a conversation back and forth about some different aspects of real estate. So make sure when you get there and subscribe, you click that notifications bell so you get to stick around to see us both helping you out, making your road to financial freedom through real estate that much easier. All right, everybody, take care. It was great to see everybody out here today, and I hope to see you again on our next live broadcast. Take care.